Okay, thank you so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and go over how to make your calls using your system. I'm going to quickly go to the login screen. You can see here this is the URL that you were actually emailed to, and that's how you'll log in. That's the address you'll need to log into your backend system. One of the other things that we're going to do is we're going to quickly put a shortcut on your desktop by right-clicking with your mouse and then going here to create shortcut. Then it says, do you want to put a shortcut to this website on your desktop? I'm going to say yes. And now what I've done is created a shortcut. Now I'm using Internet Explorer as my browser. If you're using Chrome or Firefox or Safari, any of those things, it may have some different settings, or you might be able to just go over here to your favorites and save the link. Now you have been sent two different username and passwords. One is for your sales login, the other one is for your admin login. For today's purposes, you're only going to be using your sales login. And what we'll want to do is just put in our username and our password. But real quick, let me cover something else. If for whatever reason you ever forget your username and password, you can just click here where it says click here, forgot my username and password, and just simply put in your email address and say remind me, and it'll email you your username and password. Now I'm just going to hit the back button, and I'm going to go ahead and just log in real quick. And I'll be using a test training login right now, but you will be using your login. And let's go over that. So training test. Okay. And you'll also be able to add your own logo here. So this will be your logo you'll be seeing there. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is in order for this exercise, one of the things we want to do is you're going to need a USB headset. Now you can pick up a USB headset at Best Buy, Staples, Office Depot, Radio Shack, any of those places. So a USB headset, and you're going to want to just plug that right into your computer. The other thing that you're going to want to have done prior to this training is to download the X-Lite phone and get that all set up. Now to make sure that you've got your X-Lite turned on, you can see the little X down here, or you can just simply go to your Start Programs and go to X-Lite and make sure that it's turned on. The other thing to make sure before you get started is go to My Account, and you want to scroll down here to where you see SIP extension and make sure that you have the right number in there for your X-Lite. And then once that's set up, then you're going to say Save Changes, and you'll see you're not a super admin to access this page, and it's okay, it's just an update feature there. I'm going to go ahead and now click on my Leads tab. And when you come in, you're going to notice that your call sources here have all different priorities. And you'll notice here that your campaign name, so whatever campaign you're using, you're going to see F/U number 1, and you'll also see /2. And then there's also one called Verify Data. So verify data for whatever campaign. Now, your only concern is you only want to make calls to your follow-up 1s and your follow-up 2s. If you see verify data for trash can at the top and these are at the bottom, what you're going to want to do is go look at the training for how to rearrange your call sources. Okay, it's not in this training. This training is mostly focused on just making your calls. If you see these out of order and they're not follow-up 1s and follow-up 2s aren't on the top, then you're going to want to rearrange your call sources. But for today, we've got our call sources in the right order. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click here on the very first company at the top. And once we do that, you'll notice here that it says call source, your campaign follow-up 1. It'll also show the time and the day when you're supposed to make this call. So it's automatically going to show you when you're supposed to make those calls. You also will notice a script that you can use for making this call. And then any objections that you're going to hear should be right here hot linked at the bottom, or you may have a hard copy script that we emailed you to follow. But sometimes we load them into the system, and if you need help with that, we will definitely do that for you. So that way, you know, if they say, hey, I didn't get it, here's your script. And if we scroll down here, You'll see I'm not interested right now, and you'll see the script there. So you kind of see how the scripts are laid out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just start making our first call. We make our first call. Now if you're using the X-Lite, you will click this button. If you're not using the X-Lite, you won't push this button. But for today's purposes, we're going to be using the X-Lite phone. I'm going to simply just click right here. And what happens is you'll notice that my phone is actually ringing in my ear. What I want to do is quickly go down here, read the notes, and then I want to go to the bottom here. And X-Lite is now asking me, do I want to answer or do I want to decline? It's actually just calling me right now. It's not calling the customer. And what I want to do is just hit the answer button, and it will start to call this number here.
If you're calling to schedule a free explosive growth strategy session,
now you're hearing the
press 1.
options coming up for the company, and then you want to just click this little keypad here and push whatever number you want.
For questions on
I'm going to go ahead and just say end the call for training purposes, and then anywhere you click over here on the white will automatically minimize this X-Lite phone and put it down here at the bottom. So now it's down there at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come down here at the bottom, and remember what we've got to do on the system is you'll see here 12.1. We've got to tell the system what we did. Did we leave a voicemail on this one? So I'm going to go ahead and click voicemail, and you'll notice that the date has advanced forward just a couple days. And now I'm going to say that I left voicemail 1 on this one. And then I'm going to, you don't have to hit update because the system will automatically update in the notes area just by saying call next lead. So I'm going to just go ahead and make my next call because I've left my voicemail. Okay, so now you'll hear the phone ringing again. It's actually ringing, just calling me. And if I want to quickly look down at the notes and see what it says. Left voicemail message. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Normally you would say answer now. I'm going to say decline just for training purposes. And I'm going to go ahead now. And I'm going to click voicemail left. And I'm going to put, you can see here that voicemail 1 was left, voicemail 2 is left. I'm going to just put voicemail 3 was left now, just so we're following the sequence. And you'll also notice that we have 7 voicemail steps that we give you. So you have 7 separate voicemails that you leave in a sequence every time you get voicemail. We believe that when voicemail becomes a procedure and you have a procedure for it, it's never a problem. When it's not a procedure and you don't know what voicemails to leave, it's always a problem. Voicemails can be very effective. We also have a document that explains a little bit of our strategy on our 7-step voicemail strategy that you can look at in the documents that you've downloaded for this. So I'm going to go ahead and advance my call forward now. By saying, now if you see that voicemail was already left and that was triggered there, but I really want to push it again because see my dates are stuck there, I'm going to go ahead and just click that and then back to voicemail, and now I'm going to say call next lead again. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down. My phone is ringing in my ear and it says my X-Lite is not working. I'll quickly cover that now. So the only reason why your X-Lite might not be working is because the number in your X-Lite, if you ever want to know what your number is, you can go to account settings, and your number to add into the SIP account is the 209. So this user ID number, that's what's going to go into your system, is that number there. So if your X-Lite is ever not working, it's only because you don't have it turned on or you don't have the proper SIP or user ID number into your web-based account. So just sort of an FYI before you call our office and say my X-Lite's not working, you might want to check those 2 things first. It's a very robust system and it hardly ever has problems. So most likely it's one of those 2 things. Now I want to advance the call forward. So I'm just going to say call back in 3 days. Now one of the things I want to stress is that we try and get you to take, typically minimum is to be make your calls on Monday morning from 8 until 10 and make your calls on Friday from 8 until 10. And the reason why we do that is that a good 2-hour window is a great window of opportunity where it's just enough amount of time to get through all of your calls. And then number two, we try and get you to set 2 appointments on Monday and 2 appointments on Friday. So a 2-hour window, that's about an appointment every hour. But typically we see them get it in the first 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So it's whichever comes first, the 2-hour window or your 2 appointments. And depending on what your goals or thresholds are, that may change. You might be doing this 5 days a week. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, it says my X line. I'm going to move this forward now. Let me scroll down here. I'm going to go ahead and stop my X light for a minute. And on this one it says I just got a return package in the mail. What do I do? Okay, great piece. So if a box gets returned to you, one of the best things to do is to either go over to your start campaign, and in yours it will say re-verify. So it'll have your campaign name and it'll say re-verify. So you can select that and then click this orange button, and that'll allow our team to go and re-verify. Just make sure that you go into the notes here and just advance the date forward at least 1 day. So you might want to say follow up in 2 weeks, and then you might say the box got returned, looks like the wrong address, please re-verify. I don't spell very good, you can see here. Please re-verify and resend. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just advance it forward. Or the other thing you can do is email our support desk, and they will take care of it as long as you put all the details of who it got returned back from. And that email is support@inoveir.com. And that would have been where your documents came from. Okay, now I've hit next call, and it's going to take me to my very next call. I'll go ahead and turn the phone off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set an appointment. So I got an appointment, pretty exciting. I'm going to come down here and hit add appointment. And then what I want to do is because title is going to show up in my calendar, so I'm going to go ahead and just put a little note. So let's say it's a meeting with John Doe, and I'm also going to come down here and I'm going to specify the date and the time. So I'm going to say the 18th, and then I'm going to say at what time. It's going to be 2 p.m. Okay, and then for how long, I'm just going to put 1 hour, and then I'm going to say just this one time, and I'm going to say add an appointment. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button 2 times back to where I am, and then I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to say set appointment, and then I'm going to put December 7th, I think it was 17th at 2 p.m. See appointment below, so it will be showing up below. And then I'm going to just advance the date forward here by going over here. So that way, and I think I set it for the 18th actually, so we would change that, and then I'm just going to say call next lead. Okay, now my phone's ringing again. Now I'm going to say decline. I'm going to go down here, and the person says they're not interested. So one of the things we want to do, you've got a couple options here when they say that. I'm going to go up to my marketing dashboard, and you'll see the campaign, depending on what campaign you have turned on. You see where it says start date, last send date, next send date. So it's going to show you how many documents they have gotten in, so far, and you have the ability to come over here and to stop their campaign. Just make sure you go to the bottom and you hit update settings, so that way it'll actually stop the campaign. Now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to just advance it forward. And or I could say, I'm going to say don't call back, and then I'm going to put here stopped campaign. And then I'm going to go ahead and just say call next lead. And now I'm going to scroll down and look at my notes. Let's set up an appointment for next Wednesday, which we just did that. We went over that one already. So I'm going to decline here. So I did just go over the appointment. So I'm just going to move this forward by clicking call back in 3 days. See what we got going on here. And on this one, they said they didn't get the mailing and want it to be resent. So one of the things you want to do on that is for example, you want to verify the address, which is actually right in the script. If we were to go up, you will see it in the script. And what we want to do then is make sure that we have the right city, the right state, and the right address. Maybe the suite number was wrong or there wasn't a suite number in there, so you want to update that. Now any sort of updates that you make, you want to come down here and hit the update button anytime you make any changes up here. So now we've updated it. Now what we want to do is we want to send the campaign out to them just by selecting the campaign that you're interested in sending them. Now just so you know, you will only have one option in yours unless you have multiple campaigns, but most people only have one campaign in their drop down, and then you'll just click this button. Now when you click this button, let's just do one so you can kind of see what this looks like. I'm just going to do this one, and I'm going to select it. Now you'll notice here it'll say this campaign will cost you, and it'll have a cost associated. Are you sure you want to proceed? If you say OK, then all those steps are automatically going to start going out all over again. If you say cancel, then nothing will happen. Okay? So now you know how to resend a campaign. The other thing that I want to cover real quick is how you go about adding a lead. So let's say you went to your chamber meeting, your BNI, and you want to actually send someone a campaign. So I'm just going to go up here and say add lead. And I'm just going to put the guy's company name. I'm just going to put XYZ. And then I'm going to put the first name, and I'm just going to say Tom. And his last name, I'm just going to put Jones. Okay, it's kind of a fun name. And it's going to be tjones at xyz.com. And I'm also going to put in his address, 123. I'm going to put in a city. And let's make the city Los Angeles. Okay, and the state. Now make sure, just so you know, when you put in a name or something, if you put in a small t, it's actually going to get mailed just like that, however you put it in there. So, you know, make sure you put these in correctly, just like I've got Los Angeles here totally with a small L. Let's put a tall L on there and make this look really proper. I'm going to put California there. And I'm going to do 90021. Make sure we've got a zip code. Then you always want to make sure you have a lead source because it really tracks your database for you. So let's say, for example, that it was a referral. So I'm going to select referral. Now, if you need to add more lead sources, like maybe you're doing BNI, some things, you can actually go in and add as many lead sources as you want through your admin login. Then I'm going to come down here. If I have the right email, I want to check email. If I have the right mail, I want to check mail. Then I want to come down here and say add, and it says phone number is not the required field because I didn't put one in there. I'm going to say 213. I'm going to hit my tab key, 572-3300. Now I'm going to come back here and say add lead. Okay, so now what I've got is I've got the lead all put in here. Now what I want to do is I want to specify what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit I want to send him a campaign like this, and then I'm just going to click this button right here, and that will automatically send out this campaign. So I'm going to click that button and I'm going to say OK, and boom, the campaign is all set. I'm going to go ahead and just advance the notes forward, and it will automatically override and start telling me the dates and times to start doing things. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to put, actually verified for campaign would be a better one to choose. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to just hit call next lead. And that's basically how you do that. Let's go ahead and say call next lead. Okay. And this one didn't get the mailing. We already went over that one. that. And that's basically how you make your calls. Anytime you need to access this training again, you can watch it as many times as you like, but that's definitely how you go about making your calls. Thank you so much for attending this, and look forward to talking to you again. Have a wonderful day.